I think nobody can do anything in the engineering, electrical engineering. When I was doing my PhD, then the first paper I was given by my professor was this information theory course. I must read that paper. That is a book, 49 pages paper. You spend maybe 4 or 5 months to understand that paper. Okay, another example we take. New problem, new solution. Maybe most of the people are not familiar or maybe familiar with the John Togman from Cambridge University. He's a very big scientist and he invented the iris recognition process, and by using some Gepper wavelets and this kind of stuff. It was a new problem, identification in the by iris recognition, and he proposed the first solution of that thing. He was the person who proposed the new thing. It was a breakthrough. It was a new research, and many researches are based on this his first paper, which was published in 1980s, early 1980s. Maybe he has got more than hundreds of citations by that work. So it was a new problem, and he proposed a new solution. It was a breakthrough in biometrics field. And sometimes we have new problem and old solution. Okay, problem is new, that we are going to. Can you? I'm audible. Can you hear me? Okay, I continue. If I am not audible, then please tell me. Okay. Huh? Okay. Yeah, this is better, I think. Okay, then sorry. Then case 2 and 3 are the ones that you should target for. This is the case 2, new problem and old solution, and old problem and new solution. If you are tackling a new problem with the old solution, then it's okay. Your paper will be published. I am the reviewer of IEEE transactions. I am the reviewer of many international journals. I know that if somebody submits a paper, he is adhering to the new problem, and he is giving an old solution to that. For example, wavelets. He is using image security by wavelets. Okay, security problem of image is new, authentication is new, but he is using wavelet. So I will accept that paper because he is proposing new solution of that thing. Right? And if he is solving old problem with a new solution, of course this is very novel. This is a very good thing. I will accept that paper. But if he is going to do old problem and old solution, he is reinventing the wheel, then it is not acceptable. But for the beginner, like for example you are master student or PhD student, if you are adhering to the old problem, you come up with this thing. You take the old problems and give the old solution and simulate it. Means you implement those systems. You should simulate means, for example, I give you one example of a paper. Somebody has published a paper in IEEE transaction and for fingerprint feature extraction, how to extract the features from the fingerprint. Okay, then you should implement that system in the MATLAB. You can simulate that paper. You can simulate that paper and check that how it is working. So old problem and the fingerprint identification, and you just try to propose kind of some technique, old solution to that. Okay, then you will learn something. Then how to do research, how to implement something, how to simulate something, right? And a lot of plenty of work under this category. When some paper is published in this category, we say yet another paper on. There are a lot of papers are coming. This kind of a lot of papers. You will see thousands of papers in this categories are also coming. People are publishing and it is accepting by many conferences. Normally conferences can accept this thing, but normally journals are looking for the novelty and solution, your idea, your methodology in that. But normally conferences can accept, and a lot of junk conferences also, homemade conferences. I say it. If somebody, yeah.
Sometimes in a journal, some author just compile some paper that describes all problems and simply publish their own solutions.
Yeah.
They just compile them into one paper, and they call it a survey of.
Exactly.
And they publish it in a journal.
Yeah. Actually, these are the best papers for beginner. Survey or tutorial paper, it's very much appreciated by the IEEE. IEEE has one proceeding.
So we are recording this lecture for our students. So if anybody asks questions, can you repeat it so we can record the question?
Okay. So your question is that many people are publishing surveys and tutorial papers. Okay, this is very good thing. Many people, many editor-in-chiefs in IEEE transaction or every journal encourage that you should publish survey paper or review paper or tutorial paper. Why? Because survey papers get more citations. And survey paper is very good to start for a beginner. Because when I was, going to start my PhD, my professor gave me a survey paper on biometrics. He told me that read this paper, this is very important paper. I did not know about survey paper before in 2002, early 2002, when I was doing, I finished my master's or like this. So what I did, what I realized, that when I started reading the paper, it was covering A to Z everything in that field. Every paper, because he cited every paper in that survey paper. So I know that what this field is for, and how many people are working in that field, and what are the references. Everything I got in one thing. Everything, every knowledge of the biometric I got from one paper. So survey or tutorial papers are very good for the beginners, and we encourage it that people should write it, and especially for the students, especially PhD students. And IEEE has one journal in that, IEEE Proceedings of the IEEE. It is called Proceedings of the IEEE. It publishes technical reviews and surveys. So you are encouraged to submit your technical reviews or surveys to this Proceedings of the IEEE, and it has very high impact. And there is one more I tell you, because if you have asked the question, ACM computing surveys is the best. It has the impact factor of 5. Can you imagine in computer science, impact factor of 5? It's a very big thing. ACM computing surveys, you can publish a paper in that also, and many students write paper in that, and you can also write, and I am also planning to write one paper with my students on the biometrics. So you can also, if somebody is interested, come up with me, and then we can do some work on that. But of course you should be related to that thing. Okay.
Sometimes we are facing with the fear of plagiarism. So what is the border line between plagiarism and the intention to error?
Actually, plagiarism means to copy some ideas, to steal ideas of somebody without citing them. Okay, there are so many kind of plagiarism. Not only this, just to copy and paste something. He is asking about the plagiarism, that how to overcome with this, and how do we know. There are so many tools also available. Because I was the chair of one conference, IEEE conference in Pakistan recently, and we organized IEEE in MIG conference. That we got so many papers, maybe 300 submissions for that conference. And we started trying to find that how many papers are plagiarized. Then there are so many tools available to check the plagiarism, like Viper. Viper is a tool, software. You can also check the plagiarism of your paper. Sometimes we are faced with this problem. And I also, before submitting my paper to transactions or journals, I also check. There is a Viper software. Maybe this is useful for you. VIPER. You can download this software, and you can find that if this paper is plagiarized or not. It will search on the internet, and it is freely available from the internet. Okay. Then we found a lot of papers which were plagiarized by many people. But actually, sometimes we are doing something, but we don't know we are plagiarizing somebody. So we should know this thing. It is important for us. Okay. Am I clear to you? Actually, now we see the needs of a researcher. Researcher should be a logical person. Should have logical thinking. And because if we are in the engineering world, we are EE people, electrical engineering people or computer engineering people, then we should be logical in thinking. We should relate our problems to the real world problems. So our solutions to the real world solutions. And we should know, we should establish our basic skills if we want to do research. Okay. Like for example, if you want to do research in information security or cryptography, then you must know the number theory. Without knowing the number theory, how can you come up in cryptography? You cannot do anything, because all the cryptography is based on prime numbers and number theories, right? And algebra also, you should know basic algebra. And if you are going to do communication research in communication engineering, information and communication engineering without information theory, how can you do research? Because everything is based on the Shannon's information theory, Shannon coding, right? And this is a very hectic for CS and E people, that knowledge, a lot of information is coming every day, a lot of papers are coming. We are always reading. Our whole lives are spending in the reading and learning new things. It's a very long process and very hectic process for us. A lot of, whenever I open Science Direct or Elsevier or Springer, then I found a lot of papers, a lot of hectic. Means we have to read it, and it's a challenging job. As I told you earlier, that research is a very challenging job. It is not like teaching, just teach one course and sit at home. It is not like that. It's a very challenging job, but of course you get it benefit, because it pays you a lot.